The world outside was still half asleep when Maya Bennett pushed her squeaky cleaning cart across the marble floor of Atlantic Plaza's 23rd floor. The wall clock blinked 6:43 a.m., its light too bright against a half-dark corridor. A few flickering fluorescent bulbs made her reflection look older than 32. Tired eyes, tired bones, and hope stretched thin by years of barely getting by. She gripped the master key in trembling fingers. It wasn't the cold. It was a fear that never left when you lived paycheck to paycheck. "Just get through another day," she whispered. The rent was due. Her daughter Ella's 12th birthday was 2 weeks away, and all Maya had was $300. Barely enough for a cake. Her 2004 Toyota Corolla sat in the parking lot below, groaning with every start, one breakdown away from dying for good. Every morning felt like walking on thin ice, praying it wouldn't crack beneath her feet. She stopped in front of a door engraved with polished gold letters. Richard Vaughn, CEO, Vaughn Development Group. To Maya, the man behind that name was a mystery. Sharp suit, sharper words. Men like him didn't see people like her. To them, she was invisible, replaceable, forgettable, and maybe she thought that was safer. The invisible couldn't be hurt. She unlocked the door and stepped into the office. It smelled faintly of expensive cologne and mahogany. Moving mechanically, she emptied bins, wiped desks, straightened chairs. Her thoughts drifted Ella's school note about overdue supplies, guilt pressing heavy on her chest. Then something caught her eye. A thick folder lay open on the CEO's desk, its pages scattered like fallen leaves. Across the top page, bold letters screamed, "Declaration of Bankruptcy." Her stomach dropped. She looked at the clock. 6:55 a.m. No one would arrive before 8. She shouldn't look. It wasn't her business. But her eyes lingered. She leaned closer. Total consolidated debt, $64 million. Her brow furrowed. The numbers didn't add up. Years of balancing every penny for survival had trained her to see patterns, and when something was off, she started to tally the figures under her breath. 12 million, 8 million, 15. She did the math again. Then a third time. 47 million, not 64. Her pulse spiked. Someone had added $17 million that didn't exist. This wasn't a typo. It was a setup. Someone wanted Richard Vaughn to sign away his company under false debt. A buried memory stirred. Her father's voice. If someone had told me the numbers were wrong, I could have fought back. He lost everything to accounting fraud years ago. Died broken, betrayed. Maya's throat tightened. She should walk away. She was just a cleaner. But another voice rose inside her, the one that said, "Do something." She pulled out her cracked phone and snapped quick photos of every page. Then she grabbed a yellow Post-it from the desk. Her hand shook as she wrote, "Mr. Vaughn, please check the numbers on page 7 before signing. The total debt adds up to 47 million, not 64. Someone inflated the figures. Please verify this before it's too late. A friend." She stuck the note on the top page, arranged the papers exactly as she'd found them, and hurried out. At 7:45, she clocked out in the basement. She should have gone home, but her feet refused to move. The empty garage echoed with her heartbeat. At 7:56, a sleek black Mercedes rolled in. Richard Vaughn stepped out, not the powerful CEO she glimpsed in the halls, but a man hollowed by defeat. His suit was rumpled, eyes red, shoulders slumped. He clutched a briefcase like it was his lifeline. Maya hid behind a column, torn between fear and curiosity. Had he seen the note? 8 o'clock, 8:05, 8:10. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Miss Bennett. A strained male voice. Her breath hitched. "Yes, this is Richard Vaughn. Are you still in the building?" I am." "Don't leave," he said urgently. "Please, I need to speak with you right now." The call ended. Footsteps echoed down the ramp. When he appeared, Maya froze. He wasn't angry. He looked undone, tears glimmering in his eyes. In one trembling hand, he held the yellow Post-it. "Was it you?" he whispered. "You wrote this?" Maya nodded slowly, bracing for fury. But instead, The billionaire dropped to his knees on the grimy concrete floor in his $5,000 suit and sobbed. You just saved my life, he choked. You saved everything. Maya stood frozen. She had never seen a rich man cry. He wiped his face, voice shaking. 17 million fake debts. My partner, Austin Monroe, forged them. He planned to force me into bankruptcy and buy the company for pennies. A $60 million empire. Gone. And I was about to sign. He looked at her, something human and grateful breaking through the exhaustion. I checked the logs. You were the only one who entered before 8. No reason to help me. No name. No demand for money. Why? Maya swallowed hard. My father lost everything because of numbers that didn't add up. No one warned him. I couldn't let it happen again. He stared at her for a long moment, then said softly, Come with me. Austin will be here in 10 minutes. I'm going to confront him, and I want you there as a witness. Every instinct screamed run, but Maya thought of Ella, of birthdays, of survival, and she took his hand. The elevator ride felt endless. Their reflections in the glass walls, two trembling souls from opposite worlds, seemed to watch themselves. Whatever happens, Richard said quietly, don't be afraid. Just tell the truth. When the doors opened on the 23rd floor, sunlight poured through the windows, flooding the office where fate waited. Mr. Vaughn. The secretary's voice came to the intercom. Mr. Monroe is here. Richard's eyes met hers. It's time. Send him in. The air in the room turned electric. Austin Monroe entered. Silver hair, perfect suit, confidence carved from arrogance. Rick, he said smoothly, didn't expect an audience. His gaze flicked to Maya. Bringing staff into meetings now? How progressive. Sit down, Richard said, calm but cold. The seconds ticked. Heavy. Austin smirked. Once you sign, you'll finally be free. Free. Richard's hand pressed against the desk. Or stripped of everything I built? Austin chuckled. I'm throwing you a lifeline. Richard lifted the folder. Funny, this lifeline includes 17 million imaginary debts. Austin's smirk faltered. What are you talking about? You tell me, Richard said, sliding the post-it across the desk. That small yellow square had already rewritten 2 destinies. Austin's smile returned, but it was thinner now. Someone's playing games, he said smoothly. You're letting a janitor's prank derail a legal process. Maya flinched. The word janitor hit like acid. She's not a janitor, Richard snapped. She's a reason you're not in handcuffs already. Austin laughed coldly. You can't take her word over mine. I've been your partner for 15 years. Richard's voice dropped to a dangerous calm. And in those 15 years, you learned exactly how to bury fraud so deep no one would find it, until she did. He nodded to Maya. Show him. Her hands trembled as she plugged her phone into the conference screen. The images appeared, each page of the original documents, the real totals, the false ones, the differences. Richard narrated like a prosecutor building his case. 47 million in debt. That's the truth. But your version shows 64. 17 million in phantom figures. Explain that. Austin's jaw flexed. Clerical error. 17 million is one hell of a typo, Richard said, especially when every error traces back to your office. The mask slipped. Austin's confidence cracked, his eyes flickering toward Maya. You can't prove anything. Oh, I can, Richard said, pulling a thick envelope from his briefcase. Julie Baxter kept your emails, the ones between you and Franklin Rogers at Consolidated Supply Partners. Fake creditors, inflated invoices, and the kickback waiting once I signed the papers. Austin's breath quickened. You went through my private. I didn't. Richard cut him off. Julie did. You remember her? The secretary you screamed at until she quit? Turns out she didn't delete her backups. Austin's composure crumbled. His eyes darted between them, rage boiling. You think this ends with me? You'll burn the company to the ground. Then we'll rebuild from the ashes, Richard said steadily. But you're finished. He nodded to the door. The FBI is on their way. You might want to call your lawyer. Austin's face twisted with venom. He turned to Maya, his voice dripping hate. You think he'll remember you in 6 months? You'll go back to being invisible, scrubbing floors while he forgets your name. Get out, Richard said sharply. Austin hesitated, then stormed out, slamming the door so hard the glass shuddered. Silence filled the room. Richard stood by the window, staring out at the city skyline, his company, his legacy, still his. Every breath sounded like years of weight leaving his chest. When he turned to Maya, his voice softened. He was right about one thing. He said, I didn't see you before today. You worked here for 3 years, and I never even knew your name. Maya lowered her gaze. That's how the world works, sir. No, he said firmly. That's how I worked. Blind. You saved $60 million because you saw what everyone else ignored. That's worth more than every degree on my payroll. He grabbed a notepad, scribbled something, and handed it to her. Starting Monday, you'll report to internal audit. I'll pay for your training, whatever courses you need. I want you there, seeing what others miss. She blinked. I don't understand. I'm a cleaner. Not anymore, he said, simply. You're my new junior analyst. Tears filled her eyes. I can't accept that. It's too much. It's not a favor, Maya, he said softly. It's justice. That night, as she drove home, her Corolla rattled louder than ever. But for once, she didn't care. When she parked outside her small apartment, she saw the light in the window where Ella waited. For the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. Inside, Ella ran to her. Mom, you're home late. Did something happen? Maya knelt, pulling her daughter into a hug. Something big, baby. Something that might change everything. They sat together as Maya told her about the morning. The numbers, the note, the miracle. Ella's eyes widened. You mean you're going to work in an office? With computer? Maya laughed through tears. Yes, sweetheart. You're amazing, Mom. Maya closed her eyes, holding her close. For once, the future didn't feel like a threat. It felt like a door opening. 3 months later, Chicago's autumn wind carried a bite as Maya stepped off the bus in front of On Development Group. Her ID badge now opened the main entrance, not the service one. Morning, Maya, the receptionist called. She smiled, still not used to the warmth in people's voices. Her desk on the 18th floor overlooked the city skyline. The nameplate read, Maya Bennett, Junior Audit Analyst. At first, the job terrified her. She stayed up late watching tutorials, scribbling formulas in a notebook while Ella slept. Slowly, the language of numbers began to make sense again. By the end of the quarter, she was catching inconsistencies others missed. Her mentor, Clara Freeman, smiled one afternoon and said, You have a gift, Maya. Not learned, natural. But not everyone was kind. Some senior analysts mocked her, calling her the janitor miracle. One day, Roger Maddox, a smug senior auditor, dropped a thick folder on her desk. Let's see how good you really are, he said. She spent hours analyzing it. When he returned, expecting failure, she handed it back calmly. 7 discrepancies. For our serious. She listed each. Fake trips, duplicate expenses, false invoices. By evening, security escorted Roger out, caught inflating reimbursements for months. Clara hugged her. You saved us again. That night, Richard called her into his office. You've done more in 3 months than some people do in 10 years, he said, sliding a paper toward her. Lead a new task force. Review every contract from the last 2 years. Her new title, Lead Auditor. Salary, $9,800 a month. She cried quietly, thinking of Ella and how far they'd come. Months turned into a year. The task force uncovered more frauds, saving millions. Vaughn Development became a model of integrity. News outlets told the story of the janitor who saved $1 billion firm. Maya avoided the spotlight until Richard handed her an invitation from the University of Chicago. They want you to speak about ethics, he said. You should go. I don't belong on that stage, she whispered. He smiled. You belong more than anyone. When she stepped onto stage, her voice shook. 2 years ago, I was invisible. I cleaned floors in a company that didn't know I existed. Then one morning, I saw numbers that didn't make sense. I could have looked away, but I didn't. That note changed everything. She spoke about fear, silence, and courage, the kind that act despite trembling hands. When she finished, the applause thundered. In the second row, Ella clapped with shining eyes. Afterward, Richard announced a new initiative, the Vaughn Foundation for Integrity, helping whistleblowers and funding education for workers. And its director, he said, will be the woman who started it all, Maya Bennett. Under her leadership, the foundation flourished, saving lives, protecting truth-tellers, giving voice to the unseen. One autumn evening, sitting with Ella beside the river, Maya smiled at the city lights. Do you ever think about how different life could have been? Ella asked. Every day, Maya said softly. If I hadn't looked at those papers, if I'd stayed invisible, we'd still be struggling. But I would have missed everything. The people, the purpose, the chance to show you that doing what's right can change everything. Ella rested her head on her shoulder. You're my hero, Mom. Maya smiled. No, sweetheart. I'm just someone who finally stopped hiding. The wind carried the scent of rain and new beginnings. For the first time in her life, Maya felt truly seen, proof that one act of courage could ripple through the world, rebuilding what was broken and restoring faith in what mattered most. Under the city lights, she texted Richard. The foundation just hit its 1-year mark. 43 cases resolved, 12 million recovered. He replied, You did that. She smiled, typing back, No, we did that. And for the first time, she believed it.